I somehow experienced an entire character arc playing Aska. Glorious discovery, self-reflection, hubris, regrets and guilt, the whole shebang. Before I take you on that journey though, this is a sponsored video and I'm being paid to make it. Aska is a Viking-themed survival crafter with the colony sim thrown in. You can play it solo or co-op or even on dedicated servers. Aska was released to early access in June last year and since then has received 8 major updates, adding custom game modes, dedicated servers, a farming and fighting overhaul, outposts, many new buildings, expanded world map with sailing, multiple new biomes and much more. With the 9th releasing now, adding another new biome with swamps, additions to animal husbandry and a reworked marker system for organising your villages. If you are at all interested in Aska, check the link out in the description. It goes straight to the Aska Steam page where you can find it discounted in the Steam Winter Sale, while also letting them know it was me who sent you. Right, on with the show. After a short cutscene, I arrived shipwrecked on a rather picturesque looking beach. Well, except for that huge yacht-ass looking dude. I found some Jotun blood in the boat, but nothing else. The Jotun blood appears to be a consumable resource for summoning villagers. I was attacked pretty quickly, but this first mob in the game goes down easy with a few punches. Being no stranger to survival crafting games, I figured the first move should be to get a bunch of nearby resources, like wood and stone. While gathering, I got a gathering skill up notification informing me that there is a skill system which I'm a fan of. The skills are connected to the Norse gods. The gods also have challenges which can give rewards too, though I have no idea what the rewards are like. A little later I bumped into this fellow, a blue wisp, the Wisdom Wisp, a well-meaning but certain to annoy you eventually tutorial device. You can decide to dismiss it permanently if you wish. I opened the tutorial, deftly avoiding the information I needed, finding something else I kinda needed, and then proceeded to never utilise the tutorial again for no good reason. With a full inventory, I went to find somewhere to start building. On the way, I found my first food, some mussels on coastal rocks. I picked a whole bunch of them. The first thing I built was a fire, which I sat by expecting it to give me a buff or something. It did not. Fire built, next is tools and a look at weapons. I'm sure there are mobs stronger than that little root dude. Looks like the club is the thing to start with. I gave the building system a glance. To make a basic shelter, I'd need to have built a campfire, which is the upgraded version of my current simple fire. You can either just build the new ones elsewhere or upgrade the current ones. Campfire done, now shelter. But it needs a bunch of resources. While enjoying some casual deforestation, yet finding it difficult to see the resources I'm creating, I listened to the game's prompts for one of the only times and utilised the resource highlight button. It is absolutely an invaluable tool. I think trying to find logs without it would often be horrifyingly tedious, and not having everything highlighted by default is nice for immersion. While gathering the resources, I take a look at the inventory and realise why I got full, but was then able to pick up mussels. The inventory is split into small, medium and large, and then each of those has slots. There's no weight limit, just slots. Large items can only be carried one at a time, such as long sticks, logs and large stones. There's also some stats and proficiencies on the right. Right, my first shelter is done. I finally have somewhere to sleep. It got pretty dark during the shelter build, so I thought I'd give sleep a go. I was surprised to find you don't turn night to day by sleeping, but do get rested and receive a buff. It's a pretty good buff too, as it seems to reduce stamina cost by half. But first, what's this? The Eye of Odin? It seems I need this for my village. I built the Eye of Odin and gave it a gander. This is what you use to summon villagers. You put 5 Jotun blood and can decide between 2 options. Thing is, I only have a shelter made at the moment, and Aska don't need no man. Oh, the character you play is the game's namesake, and she don't need no man. So I left the Eye of Odin and carried on solo. With my newly professed independence, I checked out what I can now build, and decided on building the Woodcutter's Pit, Stonecutter's Pit, and the Gatherer's Pit. First though, a little play with the terrain manipulation function. It's pretty good, though it takes a little getting used to. This new flat terrace deserves to have a Woodcutter's Pit built onto it. I think I'll put the Stonecutter's Pit over here though, and the Gatherer's Pit by these woods. It took me a little over 10 minutes, but all 3 buildings are finished and ready for use. What next? I consider building a warehouse, but the footprint is huge and the terrain is already looking a little all over the place. I settle on the workshop pit, which will in turn allow me to upgrade the other 3 pits. As I'm placing the workshop pit, I realise the extra side parts are actually for later expansion. It's big, but the first version of it will be a lot smaller, as would have the warehouse. I was shocked to receive a rather nasty notification telling me that my mussels had spoiled. My lamentation is bolstered by the harsh lesson that food has expiration dates in this game. I probably shouldn't have picked so many at once. I shake off my grief and prepare for personal defence by crafting a flimsy club and then a flimsy shield. Checking out the map, I realise after hovering over the Gatherer's Hut marker that they have working areas for villagers assigned to them. Presumably woodcutters can only cut within these designated areas, etc. The first raid on the village occurred, and I did not see any enemies, and no damage was done. The workshop pit reaches completion as I pound it. This allows me to then upgrade the other 3 buildings from pits to huts. So I immediately start the woodcutter's upgrade. This requires a lot more resources than the rest so far, also needing a new version of wood, logs. I notice the workshop pit has a crafting table that I can use. This table allows for the production of tier 2 tools and weapons, like an axe that allows me to obtain logs, and a pickaxe that can speed up my stone and blood harvesting. During this, a blood moon rises, and whites attack the kind of village. The whites arrive while I was doing my best to ignore them and force me to fight. I take them down with my flimsy club. These pesky brutes ain't got nothing on Aska. After I defeated them, the blood moon ends and I realise I can harvest materials from the enemy corpses, but I need a knife to do so. Fortunately, my new workshop pit crafting table can do such a thing. I skin the whites, gaining bone shards which are required to make the spiky version of the club, as well as arrows and such. I head out to get more resources, using my pickaxe to get large stones. Boy, are these stones heavy though. One at a time is slow going. It's almost like the game is pushing me to get some help from NPCs or something. Large stone axe crafted. Still can't handle birch though. Instead it's for chopping firs. Previously I'd only been able to fell young firs. Logs obtained. Carrying all of these logs and long sticks one at a time is a pain. It's almost like the game is pushing me to get some help from NPCs or something. Large pickaxe obtained. Finally, the woodcutter's hut is now complete. Fine. While Aska don't need no man, help would be nice. Let's summon a dang villager. At the Eye of Odin, after putting 5 blood into the storage, you get to choose from 2 options. These options are random villagers with 2 of their 5 perks visible. Perks are things like proficiency in some skill, resilience to certain conditions, or just preferences. But also negatives like eating too much or not handling the cold well. There is a third choice, but that requires a tier 3 Eye of Odin, and allows you to resurrect a fallen villager. A cool option, but a good way off. The first villager is summoned. It'll take 3 minutes for them to arrive. While I wait, it's time to upgrade these stonecutters to a hut too. Our first villager, Aira, arrives. Heimdallr likes this. Oh, that's a lot of information. Let's ignore it in favour of throwing ourselves against a brick wall for a bit first. I put Aira on the Gatherer's Pit first, as she has no foraging skills, but does have skinning skills which I now know to be specific for hunting. I figured gathering would be good for getting some food in, and it is, but not on its own, a lesson I don't learn for a while. I realise my villager needs a home, so I assign Aira to my shelter. It's time to bring in another villager. Our choices are Clara or Stig. Clara has iron lungs, which means she runs longer but also sleeps more often. She also has Forager's Instinct, which means proficiency in foraging. This is absolutely a great perk, and in retrospect, paired with Iron Lung would make for a great forager when heading to far-off markets. Stig has Windrider, which appears to mean a faster run speed in open areas such as plains and coast, as well as Stonebreaker, meaning a proficiency in dealing with stonework, perfect for our Stonecutter's hut, and so I pick Stig. I realise that another villager means another place to sleep is required. I see that the next home up from a shelter is a cottage. This could hold 2 or more people, but to build it I need the Stonecutter's hut and the Gatherer's hut built and upgraded from the pits. So I set the Gatherer's pit to upgrade too. After seeing just how much wood is going to be needed just for these upgrades, I move Aira to the Woodcutter's hut. With a villager assigned to a building, you can set them tasks. The Woodcutter's task has a list of all of the items the Woodcutter's building can gather and store in it. You can set the amount to gather. By default it is how much can be stored at the building. As this is the hut and not pit, it can gather and store hardwood logs and hardwood long sticks. Though the large stone axe cannot gather these, so until I have a means of creating the required tools for the villager to gather them, they will not be gathered. Aira is left to her own devices and not given a tier 2 axe. I help things along by chopping down trees for Era to collect. Little do I know, this is a great idea, as she has no way of getting logs otherwise until I give her a large stone axe. Stig arrives. Stig's other perks are Wildling, giving him a natural proficiency in hunting but a bigger appetite, Night Shadow, meaning he works better at night, and Nocturnal Resilience, meaning he's happy at night and can stand cold well. I do not notice the night-related perks, like ever. Only now, during the edit, as I review my footage, do I see the night perks. With Stig assigned to Stonecutter's Pit, I continue chopping trees to speed up the resource gathering. As Stig is currently homeless and shelters are for losers, we need cottages, and all I need to do to get those are to upgrade the Gatherers and Stokers' Pits to huts, then build a few cottages. That's super fast work for 3 people who barely know what they're doing, right? Right? I remember I can summon another villager. We need everyone we can get at this point. Loritz has a strong constitution and is great in rain. Ulf is a great hunter, specifically in winter, and likes the night. Neither are amazing choices at the moment, but I go with Loritz. Loritz arrives while I'm away. I leave him unassigned so that he'll help build things, while I collect a whole bunch of Jotun blood for summoning more villagers. As soon as I return to the village, I summon another villager, choosing the one who is the least awful. The Gatherer's hut is finally complete, now just the Stonecutter's. The Stonecutter's hut is also complete. Huzzah! We can finally build a cottage. It'll only take a sec, right? Right? Villager 4 arrives. I mess around with the terrain editing again, and enjoy that the village builders are sorting the hoeing out for me. Teamwork makes the dream work. Though the Stonecutter's hut is now hanging off a drop and I have no idea how to fix it, I hate it. Time to build some cottages. Yes, this is going to be so fast and awesome. You know what? It's going to be so fast, let's just build 2 at the same time, so that my 3 homeless villagers don't have to cram into a single one. I get to work chopping more lumber for those awesome cottages, but before long Stig walks over and starts following and sitting down by me. A quick look at his stats screen shows me he's exhausted, homeless and hungry. I have no current fix for these issues. This is a little concerning. Let's set linear to the Gatherer's hut. Gatherers gather food, right? That'll fix everything, yeah. It's been about 15 minutes IRL since we started building these cottages. They aren't looking too complete. Probably nearly done by now though, right? Right? Your tears aren't making me chop faster, bro. Your tears aren't making me break rocks faster, you two. Our 5th mouth to feed arrives. Adele, you are assigned to the workshop. Go do stuff, please. Building these stupid cottages my damn self. It took 35 minutes to finally build this friggin' cottage because I basically did it all by myself while the villagers followed me crying. After more effort, I built some extra beds in there and we finally have no homeless villagers. As with the previous one, I figure I can handle some whites, so I go to meet them on the outskirts. My confidence was misplaced. Whites are scary. Skeleton bruisers are even scarier. I try some basic tactics like avoiding the attacks then darting in to punish openings, but then fail and barely survive. I then try to run out the clock, but it doesn't seem to work. I run past a cottage where my dear burdens are sleeping in the hopes of assistance to no avail. At which point I decide to make my problem a shared village problem by locking myself in with the sleeping minions. A few seconds later we find out how to get their attention as the skeleton attacks the cottage I ran into, waking everyone up. They all dart out of the cottage and beat the living hell out of this skeleton bruiser, killing it immediately. I took the opportunity to get a nap as they ran out to deal with the skeleton, only to be rudely disturbed by the bed's previous tenant standing above me, menacingly. While the villagers get back to sleep, I get back to work, harvesting the bodies of the invaders. They can sometimes drop Jotun blood, so it's certainly worth it. The next day I gather more blood for summoning. Igor is on the way. Our stonecutter Stig is having some issues. He's well hydrated but famished. It seems the gatherer is either not working properly or more likely that it's not enough. This problem needs to be sorted ASAP. While starving, Stig is also concerned with his lack of proper tools and is asking for a better quality one. It's at this time that I realise I need to supply my villagers with their tools. They have worked up until now with basic tools because they are craftable in your inventory. Everything else requires a workshop of varying qualities and type. Before digging into that though, I need to get this food situation sorted, and it seems a cooking hut would be a step in the right direction. With how it turned out last time, I get my hands dirty right away and start clearing stumps. It's the only way to get things built around here. It's got nothing to do with bad management or anything. That would be crazy. I'm clearly an exceptional leader. Oh, they built it while I was complaining. Apparently, when they aren't homeless, they get stuff done. I take a look around the cooking hut. There's a place for cooked food, raw meat and vegetables. On top of those storages, there's a cooking pot with a fire underneath. I don't figure out how it all works, but what I do is assign Igor, our newest villager, to the position of cook and trust that he'll get it done. People don't like when you micromanage everything they do. An exceptional leader. Probably should have read that. I saw a giant rabbit hopping about, so I hunted it, skinned it and dropped the meat off at the cooking hut in the hopes of aiding the situation. Weirdly though, Igor is here, but he's not touching the rabbit meat or anything. Nah, he'll get it done, just leave him to it. Exceptional leaders have faith in their minions. Adele appears to be doing nothing. Well, she's a workshop worker and Stig needs a new spiffy pickaxe. Maybe she can sort that for him. I set a task on the workshop pit to craft a large stone pickaxe. I assume this will just make one and don't quite realise how cool this system is. Any items you set to be crafted as tasks basically act as a stock list and will be made and stored at the workshop. When any of those items are taken, the workers there will make another to replace it, keeping the stocked levels of whatever you set it to. What makes it cooler is that provided you have the storages of the workshop set to whitelist the villager in question, whether they break a tool or need a better one, they will just go to the workshop and pick one up if it's in stock. I love this kind of automation. Anywho, I don't realise this for a good hour, so after Adele makes the pickaxe, I trade it to Stig manually. I figure another way to help the food situation would be another source of food, so I got to building a fisherman's hut. I set out to the shore and set the new building. I then return and realise I could have just put it on the coastal pool right by the original campfire and do that, completely ignoring the one I already set to be built by the shore. As the boss, I have bigger fish to fry. Can't be spending my time sweating the little things. Igor isn't doing anything and I realise he may just need water, so I build a rain catcher right by the cooking hut. I'm also going to need a fisherman soon, so I go summon another villager. It took a little time and effort, but the fisherman's hut is complete. Huzzah! Hedvig, it's great to have you in our village. Now, go fish or something. It's been quite a while, and the rabbit meat I put here is still here. Igor has put 3 litres of water in the pot, but even that isn't full. Is he just scoffing all the food he makes? I investigate the gatherer's hut and find all of the berries and vegetables I put in its storages are gone. So someone at least is definitely eating. Guess I'll go foraging myself. Ooh, onions, garlic. Nice. I'll try my hand at cooking. A little red meat, an onion, a bulb of garlic, and well, this is gamey meat, so let's throw in some berries. What I don't realise is that there's only a single red meat left, which means someone's been eating raw rabbit. Yay, it's almost cooked. I'm starving myself here too. I can't wait to see what happens when it That greedy gobshite, he took it all. Igor took and ate every portion of the stew I made. This man will shape up or he will die. Enough with useless villagers, let's summon another. This Gudrun looks promising, stout of body and skilled with lumber, most welcome indeed. Gudrun arrived and it would seem that she has the Wind Rider perk, which is fantastic, as well as the Night Shadow perk, so I should probably sort her schedule to ensure she works at night, where she'll work best. You can schedule every villager's work, leisure and sleep. Different perks can hint towards changes needing to be made to these, such as longer or shorter sleep periods, maybe they prefer night or day, etc. They also do their eating and such during their leisure time, so you need to ensure they have the time. You can also set presets, which is incredibly useful. Even just 2 basic ones for night and day workers would be a great move. Well, that's all the schedules sorted, nothing else of import on this page. I assign Gudrun to the woodworker's hut and take Era off it. This was one of the best decisions I made. Gudrun could be seen zipping around every night, taking care of almost all of our lumber needs, completely on her own, without a single complaint. Gudrun is best girl, 100%. Right, let's check how the fishing is going. No fish. No bait either. What exactly has Hedvig been doing? Aha, so Hedvig needs bait. I look at the crafting table in the fisherman's hut and find that we probably need the berry bait. I know now that due to the food shortage, berries are not making it to the gatherer's hut storage, meaning that Hedvig cannot make berry bait and so cannot catch fish. With the intention to ensure we get this done, I head out myself and harvest a bunch of berries. I then head back to the hut and craft them all into berry bait, putting all 114 berry bait into the hut's bait storage. I may have finally done my job to the bare minimum requirements. At the end of the day, I check on the hut and huzzah, we have a fish! It's only one, but it's a fish, Dagschnabbit. Right, time for me to try some cooking again. That useless Igor sure isn't going to. I head to the cooking hut and prepare some ingredients, but I can't put the fish in the cooking pot. It seems I need to drop the fish on the ground and then harvest it like I would any animal or enemy. Fish fillet it into the pot with the veg and cook. Cool, we have 4 fish soup. I'll whack them in the cooked food storage for folk to eat. At the end of the next day, I find 7 fish outside the hut. 7! Nice one, Hedvig. I also collect some mussels. I figure I can make seafood soups by whacking them all together. I'd put the fish fillets in the cooking hut and Igor isn't doing anything with them, so I start cooking multiple batches to feed the village. After a night-long cooking session, we have plenty to go around. Or so I thought, but it all goes in seconds and Stig gets nothing. Fortunately, one last batch was cooking and he just manages to grab one. At this point, I'm still under the impression that Igor is useless and it's the children that are wrong. So him sitting there doing nothing merely enrages me further. But I don't know of any way to deal with him, so he's safe for now. The days flew by, summoning new villagers, upgrading buildings. Then, I found some whites on the beach. Upon closer inspection, it turns out to be a white shipwreck. 2 very strange things were present, but they can be damaged, so I guess maybe they'll give me a big chunk of Jotun blood? While here, a blood moon rose. Then, my last weapon broke. I ran back to the village to intercept the undead invasion. Having figured out the invasion's increasing difficulty with every new villager, I immediately went to the folk cottage and shut myself inside in order to make it everyone's problem. It worked a treat. I helped a little at least. After everything settled down, I got to work harvesting the invaded corpses. There was even a Draugr this time. With the invasion cleaned up, Zelda on her way and my weapons replaced, I made my way back to the shipwreck. The whites had respawned, so I cleared them out again. Now, let's destroy those weird things. That's weird. A little ominous. Maybe it'll turn to loot if I destroy the other one? Let's find out. Something is happening at least. Oh crap, come on. This is not a loot. This is a boss. And so I was one-shotted into oblivion. Death in Aska, it would seem, is not quite permanent. Given the option to return as a ghost or be reborn, I figured reborn sounded a little more costly, so I tried a ghost. Turns out if you pick a ghost, you are given the opportunity to sacrifice a villager's soul for your resurrection. Yeah, we both know who I'm picking. I do this Igor with no affection, with no regret. At least, not right now. It wasn't long after that I realised that I had to figure out a recipe and then set that recipe as a task for the cook to craft. Otherwise, the cook doesn't know what to cook. I continued on with Gunnar as the new cook, terraforming, building a warehouse for all the fish we now have. There's so much. There's always food available now. But hey, if the guilt ever gets too much, there's always that option. If you are interested in Aska, do be sure to click the link in the description. It'll take you right to Aska's Steam page where it is currently discounted for the Steam Winter Sale. That specific link also tells them that you came from me. Thanks all. Have a great end to 2025.